Warning: not all processed foods deserve their bad reputation, and what you find on a food label may surprise you. With all the heated debate online, you might believe processed food is the root of all evil. But here's where it gets controversial. Some processed foods can fit into a healthy diet, and some that look innocent might be hiding sneaky additives. If you regularly tune into wellness influencers or news segments, you've likely been told that processed food isn't just unhealthy, but downright dangerous to your well-being. Much of the concern stems from the fact that a diet packed with highly processed choices often leads to eating more calories, salt, sugar, and artificial additives than your body needs. But this is the part most people miss. Not every processed food is created equal. That's where understanding the label comes in. Ready to learn which ingredients to watch for? And which processed foods are worth keeping on your plate? Decoding processing categories. Food scientists use a system called NOVA to classify foods based on how much they're processed. Think of this system as sorting foods into 4 separate buckets based on what's been done to them. Group 1, unprocessed or minimally processed. Foods that are closest to their natural state. Imagine picking fresh fruits and veggies off the farm, or cracking open those nuts still in their shell. Other examples: plain milk or yogurt, eggs, meats, fish, oats, grains, legumes, plain pasta, and ground herb for spices. Sometimes a bit of minimal preparation, like cooking or grinding, is all it takes to make these foods edible and tasty. Group 2, processed culinary ingredients. These are ingredients made from Group 1 foods, often used in cooking to enhance taste and texture. Classic examples: oils, sugar, honey. You wouldn't eat a spoonful of oil on its own, but you might add it to a recipe for flavor.
Ooh, Group 3, processed foods. Here's food that's been through basic preservation.
Traditional methods like canning, fermenting, bottling, or salting help these foods last longer. Examples: canned tomatoes or fruits, cheese, salted fish, tomato paste, and simple breads. You could make these in your own kitchen with a few staple ingredients. Group 4, ultra-processed foods. Now things get tricky. These are mass-produced foods designed for convenience and irresistible taste, often with ingredients you wouldn't keep in your pantry. Think packaged biscuits, instant noodles, frozen desserts, processed meats, margarine, certain breakfast cereals, and sugar-sweetened drinks. Most of the natural ingredients have been stripped away, but don't just lump all ultra-processed foods together. Their nutritional value and the types and amounts of additives used can vary widely. So, what's so bad about ultra-processed foods?
Here's a jaw-dropping fact. Nearly half of Australians' daily energy intake comes from ultra-processed options. Why? They're cheap, super convenient. But here's the problem. They're loaded with calories, salt, and added sugars, without offering enough essential nutrients like vitamins, minerals, or dietary fiber. It's a classic case of empty calories. Studies show the risks are real. People who consume more ultra-processed foods are more likely to have poor diet quality and adverse health outcomes. For example, those eating the most compared to the least are 25% more likely to see reduced kidney function, 20% more prone to being overweight, obese, or diabetic, 40% more likely to experience depression or other mental health struggles. But here's the twist that sparks debate. Not all products in Group 4 affect health equally.
A recent review points out that while sugary drinks are clearly problematic, certain fortified cereals or dairy foods might be neutral or even beneficial. Can processing sometimes help your health? Some processing is actually useful. It can make foods safer, help them last longer, and reduce waste. This often involves adding substances like emulsifiers, preservatives, flavor enhancers, acids, colors, and raising agents. These additives must pass strict safety tests. Only approved ingredients and the smallest necessary amounts make it through. But, and this is where opinions get fiery, some adults and kids eat a lot of ultra-processed food, unintentionally loading up on a wide variety of additives. Could those combinations cause problems? Experts are sounding the alarm about possible links between high additive intake and issues like heart disease, diabetes, and mental health disorders.
Some even worry about the so-called cocktail effect, when mixing additives might have unpredictable consequences for your health.
For instance, a huge study with more than 100,000 French adults found certain additive combinations may increase the risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Even more intriguing, newer research suggests that specific additives, such as emulsifiers, might disrupt your gut lining and alter the mix of helpful versus harmful microbes, possibly increasing risk for inflammatory bowel conditions. How to pick smart or processed foods? It's not as simple as saying processed equals bad. The question is, how is it made, which additives are in there, how often do you eat it, and how much do you have? Here are some smart tips for grocery shopping. 1. Check the ingredients list. This section of a label is a goldmine of info. Look for foods with few or no additives and ingredients you recognize from your own kitchen.
Be aware, additives may be named outright or listed by code numbers. 2. Use Health Star ratings. When choosing between similar products, reach for the one with more stars. These typically contain less salt, less saturated fat, and fewer added sugars. 3. Think about frequency. If you eat a product regularly, say every week, it's worth spending extra time comparing labels to find the healthiest option. And here's the part with a twist. Don't assume every Nova Group 3 food is automatically healthy. Some may sneak in too much salt, sugar, or saturated fat. Curious how both processing and nutrition combine to impact your health? You might want to try an app, like Open Food Facts, that scores products on both criteria, and even rates them for environmental impact. Now over to you. Is the processed food panic overblown? Do you think processed foods are unfairly demonized, or do the health warnings hit home for you?
Some experts argue that ultra-processed foods aren't the main villains in modern diets.
Do you agree or disagree? Tell us your perspective in the comments.
Is it time to rethink which processed options actually fit in a healthy lifestyle? And how can we be savvier about what's in our food?